well, good evening, everyone. I want to talk a little bit about the Ohio QSO Party tonight. This presentation is available at county.cc/OQP, so you can go through the presentation and get to all the links. There's also a link just below that for the Ohio QSO Party website, and also for the state QSO Party challenge, which I'll be talking about a little bit later. So did you enjoy operating field day? If the answer was yes, I have a couple other HF operating events for you to try out. The first, although field day is not called a contest, the operating style of field day is quick contacts, short exchanges, and trying to maximize your total number of contacts. It's pretty much the definition of amateur radio contesting. So even if you're not that familiar with it, you were doing it in field day. If the answer is yes, I have a couple other things for you to try out. The first one is going to be the state of Ohio. State QSO parties. There's about 47 during the year. They're spread from February to October, so there's only a few left this year. They're typically 1 day long, some have 2 days, very similar to field day. And the good news is the Ohio State QSO party for us is August 26th. That's 1 month from this weekend. Another activity you might want to try is OSPOTA, Parks on the Air. We've already done one club activation of the Park on the Air a couple months ago, and hopefully we'll be able to do some of those. The thing about OSPOTA, it can be very short. The goal is to make at least 10 contacts to activate the park. So you might not be out there for the full 24 hours that you do for field day, and in fact, you might only be out there for an hour. But again, it's a field activation similar. There's also a special OSPOTA activity that takes place at the beginning of September, the Saturday following Labor Day. PCARS does the Ohio State Parks on the Air, OSPOTA, and basically it just features Ohio State parks. There's a number of them within close driving distance from us, and it's about a 4-hour operation. But Anthony might say this all sounds like contesting. I'm not a contester. Well, you have 3 options. The first one is embrace the competition and jump in and enjoy the contest. But if you're not interested in the competition aspect, you can completely ignore the competition aspect of it. Just see it as an increased opportunity to make contacts, because a lot of people are going to be on the air and want to talk to you. You really don't care about the competition. You don't even have to record the exchanges they give you, but you still need to give out the exchanges so they'll have the exchange during the contest. And if you're not sure, try it and decide later when you enjoy contesting. If you're just new to contesting, there is a number of resources. I have a slideshow and a video recording called Introduction to Amateur Radio Contesting. If you're an ARRL member, you can take an ARRL online class. It's 5 modules. It's called Introduction to Amateur Radio Contesting, and you get a suitable for leather binding PDF available as part of the class resources. There's also a number of books out there. One I would suggest is a book called Amateur Radio Contesting for Beginners. There's some videos out there also. And excuse me, Dave Kessler says, must I submit a contest log if I make contacts in a contest? No, you don't need to. If you're not interested in the competition, just go ahead and work the station. They won't get any points. There are very, very, very few contests where you don't get points unless another person submits a log. But they are such a small percentage of contests, don't worry about that out. So get on there and make contacts. As long as you qualify for points for them, that's all you need to do. State QSO party is sponsored by states, provinces, or regions. And the reason why I said regions is the first call district does go on with all the states in the first call district. Same as the 7th call district, there's also one in Western Canada. It's called the Canadian Provinces Party, where they do BE6 and BE5 stations. Typically, the exchange is the county if you're in the state, and if you're out of the state, it is your state. So for the Ohio QSO party, my exchange would be Summit. But if I'm working in Alabama QSO party, my exchange would be Ohio. Some states add an additional element, such as including an operator's name or a serial number, but the majority do not. The Ohio QSO party is sponsored by the Mad River Radio Club. It's one of 47 state QSO parties. It takes place on the 4th Saturday of August every year, which this year will be 8/26. And this link will get you out to the page for the Ohio QSO party with all the information. The objectives are for amateurs inside the state of Ohio to make as many contacts with amateurs as possible, both inside and outside of Ohio. So if you're in Ohio, you can work anywhere. It doesn't matter where you're at, they're eligible to be working. If you're outside of Ohio, you can only work Ohio stations to get credit for the contest. Non-Ohio stations may work only Ohio stations, while Ohio stations can contact anyone. There's different categories, and I'm not going to read this step by step to you, but single operator is the category that most people would probably choose in this group. One person performs all the operating and logging functions. You're allowed to use spotting nets. In other words, you're allowed to see who spot themselves and go to those frequencies. That's perfectly acceptable. You just can't spot yourself, and that's the case in many contests. It's frowned upon spotting yourself. A multi-operator is when you have more than one operator performing operating and logging functions. Multi-operators can employ a single transmitter or multiple transmitters. They're not categorized by power. There are power categories in the single operator category, and I typically operate QRP. There's a high power, and low power, and QRP and single operator. Mobile is a radio station that can be operated while in motion. So if you're going to enter mobile, you can't put up a mast and an antenna next to the car. That's not considered mobile. That falls into our next category, which is a rover. The difference between rover and mobile is that a mobile station has to be able to operate while in motion. Although they don't have to operate in motion, they can always stop if they like to. And if you're a single person without a driver, I would suggest you do stop in most cases to operate. But if you're a rover station, you're allowed to stop, put up an extra antenna, mast, whatever you want to do. And again, you can read all the details. You're also allowed to use APRS if you want people to be able to follow and see what counties you're activating. And that's really the purpose for the mobile and the rover stations, is the ability to activate rare counties and to activate multiple counties during the contest. You can move around every time a rover or mobile changes counties, everyone can work them again, even if people were working in the previous county. So it's a great way to activate counties. And if you like to try something challenge with rovering or mobiling, with much more information, I'll give you in a few minutes. The exchange Ohio station send an RSP. By the way, don't give a roll RSP, just give a contest RSP. So if you're on phone, your signal strength is 5.9. I can guarantee it. If you're on CW, it's not even going to be 5.9, it's going to be 5.9. So that's what you're going to send to the RSP. And then you're going to send phone, you're going to say the county, but you might also want to get an abbreviation. On CW, you definitely just want to get an abbreviation. All abbreviations are 4 letters. And the nice thing in Ohio, because we don't have any county names that repeat themselves in the beginning, all of the 4-letter abbreviations are the first 4 letters of the county name. So there's nothing tricky, like you have in some of the states where you have 2 counties that start with the first 4 letters being the same. So you have to substitute something. Non-Ohio stations, WV stations, including KX6 and KL7, send the RST in the state grid. So if you work a station in Idaho, they would send Idaho. If you work a station in Alaska, they send AK. And the official list is also available on the website. DX stations simply send DX, and every DX location counts the same. So there's no multipliers for different countries. Once you work one DX, every other DX is the same multiplier. Here's the list of county abbreviations. Again, as I said, there's the first 4 letters of all the county names. The good news is all the county names are the first 4 letters. The bad news is if you're not familiar with the spelling of something, it can get sort of tricky to figure out what those first 4 letters are. So I suggest you print out the sheet and keep it handy, especially with Astrodule, Oglees, the Shotgun, the Tuscarora, throw a lot of people for the spelling, let alone the pronunciation. Points. Scoring points. Each complete non-duplicate single side bag contact is worth 1 point. Each complete non-duplicate CW contest is worth 2 points, and there are no digital contacts with points in the Ohio QSO play. Multipliers are counted once per mode, not once per band. So the most you can have for any given multiplier is 2 multipliers for a different county when you work them on 2 different modes. You don't get credit if you work on 80 and 40 both on phone. That would still count as only 1 multiplier. And the software takes care of calculating on 40. The final score is the total number of QSO points times the total number of multipliers. The multiplier number for states for people outside the state of Ohio is the 88 counties in Ohio. But in Ohio, we get to use those 88 counties for a multiplier. We also get to use all of the other 49 states. The District of Columbia is located within DC. And we also get to use the 11 Canadian provinces, one DX multiplier, no matter how many DX stations you work. So you can actually get 149 multipliers total. And if you work those on both modes, you can actually have 298 multipliers. Good luck on that one. Miscellaneous rules, no cross mode contacts. In other words, you can't call on CW and listen on phone. You have to make a contact that way. Stations may be used with multiple call signs. So let's say Steve and Frank want to operate in the field. They set up one radio. They can alternate operating that radio. They can use that. Or let's say Frank is going to use the W8VPB call and his own call. He can actually alternate and make calls on the network. Other thing is this can't be used to inflate just one person's contact. So all the call members can't just call. Go get the W8VPB only when it works with call members. It needs to be evenly spread among anyone that's calling the answer. Those stations may claim simultaneous operation in more than one county. This is a little bit different in Ohio than some of the other county parks. Some parties allow you to park on the county line and even on the county 4 line extension and give multiple counties at the same time. For the Ohio party, you must move a minimum of 500 feet before you can claim in the county. So if you park on the county line, you have to pick one county or the other county. If you want to move 500 feet, you can then operate as the other county. That is a little bit different in some other states. Again, all the state QSO parties have slightly different rules. That makes it sort of fun. Self-spotting is not permitted, so you can't spot yourself. The exception to that is if you operate CW, the reverse beacon network will automatically spot you whenever you call CW. All entrants are strongly encouraged to submit their entry in a computer readable format. More information is available on the website, but if we rather use paper forms, they're all available on the website. You can click on this link to get to them. There's also a club competition. When you send in your entry, you look to the club and all the contact in one club are combined and given a multiple score. So there's actually a competition of all the clubs that enter. Now, that's the details on the Ohio party and the state QSO party in general. And I'm just going to talk a little bit about software. I have a whole presentation on logging software. I also have a video that you can watch that talks about contest logging software and general logging software. Probably one of the popular programs that people use is ARRL. That's what C-Park used this year for field day. So if you're used to using a field day, it's the same sort of thing. And again, I have a full slideshow and a video. So if you're not familiar with anyone in there, you can watch this video or read the slideshow with more details. And that's the link to the software. There's a free software you can download and install it. Once it's installed, these are the 6 steps you need to do before you operate it. You're going to open up the log. Let me actually do them real quick. I'll just open up anyone in there and do them. By the way, that I've got anyone in there installed on the club computer so that when we take it out in the field, we can use it. So where to go? I have a link for it. I did that. Let's get rid of this. Oh, the word from the back bigger. Quickly. Here we go. Okay. Sorry about that. So when the software is installed, then you open it up, it's going to ask you to create a new log. I've already done that. Set it up to know this. I hit configure. I thought I had. Okay, we're going to go back to this section that I want to shoot for the 3 0 and then it'll just fine. So you need to go to File, New Login Database. and choose from the drop-down menu QSO parties. There is no entry for each of the QSO parties. They're all lumped under one giant file. So you pick QSO parties. Once you do that, then another little drop-down opens below that is that you pick the individual state QSO parties you want to work. So you pick Ohio from that list, and you're all ready to go. Also, there's a spot to put in your exchange. That's where you type in the abbreviation for your county in that field. And you also want to click on the tab that says associated files, and you can upload a call history text file. The call history text file is a listing of all the stations that were in the contest last year and what counties they used as their exchange. So it's, if you're having trouble reading someone, it might be helpful. But again, don't depend on that. Listen to what they're actually saying. Just like we did with field day, we had the call history files loaded, and it gave you an idea of what their exchange was last year. And this is the screenshot of everything I just talked about. So the drop down to the QSO party, you pick right here. Then you get this drop down, you pick Ohio. Then you put in your set exchange right here. You then click on the tab for associated files. You click on the call history file change button. It will pop up a window saying there's a new version. Say OK and download it. And then click OK and you're all done. So those are the steps that I showed on the previous page, actually showing you a screenshot of everything. And if you need assistance with this, I'd be happy to help some stuff.
Anthony,
Yes.
you forgot about the hour setting.
Oh, I did. Well, no, I didn't. I thought we talked about setting. There's only one hour setting we're going to use.
Yeah.
But other people may want to change this hour setting to whatever they want to use. And they also might want to change the mode from single sideband CW to either just single sideband or just CW. That's all. So those are the other two you might want to change. And again, if you're going to be a mobile station, you want to change that also. Thank you. Forgot about that. See, when you
For me, it always comes up high power.
it does. I have to change it to every time. So
It always comes up high power.
exactly. Thank you, Z. Great point. There's another program that you might want to use called W3FJP. Scott is the person who creates this. It's a commercial program. It costs $9 for the Ohio QSO party file, but you can get all the QSO parties and all other contests for $59. So if you're interested in this, it's a demo you can try out. If you like it, I'd suggest that you are to buy the whole thing. It's worth it to get the whole package.
He gives you free of it.
Yes, yeah, it also has a general along which anyone does have. Sometimes it's referred to as amateur contest log, where you also see it abbreviated as AC log. So when you install the program and you go to try to find N3FJ, sorry, that's not a W, that's N3FJP, that's a typo right there. N3FJP. I'll fix that typo. When you go in and try and find the program in N3FJP, you won't find it because it's under AC log. Paper logging, as I said earlier, all materials are available on the website. And just to show you that these links actually work, I'll click on one. It'll take us out to the QSO party, and there's a paper log that you could use. I couldn't use it. I haven't even used one of those for 25, 30 years, because when I do use one of those, I always forget to change the band and motor to get that at the time when I change bands and modes. So I don't use those things. But if you do like that sort of thing, there is that possibility out there. Wishful mind. Now, why participate in state QSO parties? Well, it's a great chance to be a design multiplier when it's your state. Chance to be in demand without spending money to travel to a foreign country. It's also a great activity for in-state local radio clubs to encourage on-air activity by members. It's great for rover and mobile and portable operators, especially if you don't have a place where you can have antennas at home or you don't have a home station set up. K3KMR, Jim, who's on the call with us today, has a video he recorded that he presented to the California, Northern California Contest Club, and you can watch this video on mobile and rover operations at your leisure. Let's get quiet now. State QSO parties are also friendly. The atmosphere is more laid back than some of the major contests. It's a chance to connect with old friends around the state. There's a lot of people that I work in all the different state QSO parties because they just are always on there. It's great. It makes for great club competition between club members and between the local clubs. Most single sided CW options work. Some even have digital, some of the state parties. It's a shorter duration contest than many of the major contests. And there's many opportunities throughout the year. As I said, 47 between February and October. Coming up in September is the Pennsylvania State QSO Party. So if you want to be in state person for that, all you need to do is drive about 60 miles east, then you'll be in Pennsylvania. You need to go to Mercer County, Lawrence County, and you're right across the line. Each of the state parties might have slightly different rules, so there's a different flavor to each of the contest. Some have bonus stations. The Kansas party, which happens to be on the same day as the Ohio party. When you're working in Ohio party, the same day as the Hawaii party, Kansas party, and the Ohio party all the same day. Kansas party uses it as a bonus points or bingo points. They do. I never been able to figure it all out completely, but they do it bonuses bingo. And some parties have state related prizes, and I actually did win that one little 1 ounce maple syrup of the year in that category. The state QSO party challenge is an overlay of all the parties. It's not a contest in its own. It's a way of recognizing amateur radiographers for their active participation in all of the state QSO parties throughout the year. You don't need to enter anything special. You simply work the state QSO parties, and then you upload your information to the 3830 website, and all the talent takes place there. So you work parties, you enter your information to 3830, and then the state QSO party channel automatically aggregates the scores. Now there is a limit. Where you get credit for a state party, you must work with these 2 contacts in that party. Once you work 2 contacts in that party, then you're eligible to get that multiplier in that party. And at the end of the year, they count up all the QSOs you made in all the parties, and they multiply it by the number of parties you took part in. And there's rewards available for those. There's a diamond level, platinum level, gold level, silver level, and bronze level for each of the different point values that you can accumulate during the year. Here's an example of the score being posted. You see KI6 RN has the highest total. You have 14,950 QSO that you work in 46 parties. This is 2 years ago, we played 46 parties, so you weren't going to be part of it. You see some people use different strategies. They work with a lot of people, lesser number of contests. But again, you get the multiply. So the more contests you work in, the higher you get. Scores also sorted by the number of. There's another page on the score site that sorts them by the number of contests you work. So this year, for this previous year, it was 46 contests. And these are all the people that worked. There were 35 people that first year worked all 46 contests. I did myself. Here's my award. There's also awards for the number of contests you work, in addition to the total points you get.
This is a new award, right?
It's been 3 years. And just disclosure, I'm on the committee that sponsors that award and works on the plan for that. So if you're just interested in working, you use 2 contests in each contest. If you work 100% of the contest, you can get the ultimate trophy, elite for 90%, expert, etc., etc. There's a write-up that you can read about the state QSO party challenge. These are some scores for 2023. After the date for 2023, you see that the contest started in February with the Vermont party, and we're already past this particular schedule calendar. But I can tell you that we still have a number of big parties coming out. The biggest party is in October, and that is the California QSO party. The Illinois party, the New York party, the Pennsylvania party are also coming out, and those are all rather large parties. The most recent addition to the state QSO party challenge was in the Central Provinces QSO party that does these provinces in Canada, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Alberta, VE3, I'm sorry, VE4, VE5, and VE6. British Columbia has its own party, and VE3 Ontario has its own party, and VE2 has a party, and unfortunately, it's no party for the Maritimes. It used to be that they're currently as well.
Like roads, going higher.
Yes. Correct. So, triple bonus. You can work the Ohio State QSO party from a state park and activate that park at the same time. And if you post the scores on 3830, you can have yourself in the state QSO party town. So one contest, 3 entries, in 3 different things. Now, one of the mistakes that people have about code is typically in code you give the park identifier. So if it's Tiger National Park, would be K0020 would be the park identifier. You don't actually need to give that. All you need to do is make sure that your logs are uploaded to the total site with the contact and everyone that works here will get credit for that part. So during the state QSO part, there's no reason to have to give your state to even tell people you're a state park. As long as you're in the state park, the credit will take place automatically. So it's a great thing to think about if you want to go out and set up portable or remotely. Choose a state park or a national park, and you can do that during the Ohio QSO park. Now, unfortunately, the OSPOTA and the state QSO party are on different weekends. They're only 2 weeks apart, and they're on different weekends, so you can't do this at the same time. So there's rules and information on the challenges there. The biggest thing is planning your operation. If you're in state, it's pretty easy. If you're out of state, it's pretty easy. No advantage going to a different county. You just simply work from home. If you do want to activate a park, you could do that. You could go to a park and activate a park. But if you're in the state, like in Ohio, you might want to choose a different county. Some is pretty popular. There's a lot of people in some are pretty easy to work. Some that work 40 is more difficult, but it's not really that difficult. If you want to get more difficult yet, start heading down the southeast Ohio, and it gets a lot rarer or a lot quicker. You could find stations by following any of the different clocks, seeing people will post when people are involved. Abbreviation will be OQP, so they'll usually put down OQP or whatever the particular party is, so you can tell real quick. Some parties even have their own spelling networks. South Carolina, North Carolina parties in the spring have their own buffer. So the tip for your contest is make sure you read and understand the contest rules. Each of the state QSO parties can be slightly different. Make sure you know your exchange. Now it's really easy when it's an out-of-state party. You have to meet Ohio. It's really simple. Send it only what is required in the exchange. Keep it streamlined. Avoid excessive information. Repeat only requested information. Not all contestants will be on suggested frequencies. One of the nice things about most of the state pizza parties, because it's not going to be filling the whole band up, they usually say, this is the suggested area operate CW, this is the suggested area operate phone. If you tune to those areas, you have a better chance of finding something. Remember, you also want to tune a little bit above and below that. Know the CQ and call sign station before responding. So if you're hunting a constant, in other words, you're not calling CQ, listen to a while, make sure you know the station's call. You might even have their exchange down in your log because you've heard them tell other stations, and then jump on. If you're calling CQ, make sure you give your call sign frequently enough that people aren't asking for your call sign. If you're a rover, give your new counties included in the CQ. So if I'm a rover in that county, I might want to say CQ2P Summit, CQ2P 40 to whatever county I'm in, so people know that I switch counties. Because if they don't know I switch counties, they don't know they can work me again if they've already worked me in the previous counties. Keep track of the stations you've already worked. The only time you can work again is when they move to a new band or a new county or a new mode. I would mention the squatting clusters and reverse beacon network. One of the things that a lot of the people who operate a lot local rovers will try and use a very similar frequency in all of the bands. So I know that Jim operates quite often. He might, let's say on 40s operate on 7038. When he moves to 20, he'll be somewhere around 4038. And when he moves to 80, he might be somewhere around 35, 38. So again, being in that same area, you know where to listen. So if you're following stations as they're moving along, you can actually predict where they're going to be at and work when they move from county to county. After the contest, make sure you submit your log to the sponsor. That's the people that are sponsoring the contest. So I have QSO party, you can send the log into them. Entering the state QSO party challenge is completely separate. You send in you put your information in 3830, you don't need to send in a log, you just fill an online form, and that enters you in the state QSO party challenge. That doesn't enter you in the state party. And also putting your entry to 3830 doesn't enter you in the, I'm sorry, sending in your log to the responder doesn't enter you in the challenge. Here's the link to 3830, and I have a whole presentation on 3830 public contest. User site, score user site. There's also some resources I have linked here. There's outline maps of the state with the county names listed in them that can be very helpful. There's an overlay map, and then there's also an interactive online county map where you can find a county by just zooming in on what's different spots. So outline maps are pretty simple. Pick the state you want. These are all three. Then you get all kinds of this. Now, unfortunately, they don't have abbreviations on. That the abbreviations are different for each of the different states. So Vermont, I think, uses 3 letters to their county abbreviations, whereas Ohio uses 4 letters for this. And again, that triple bonus is available if you want to do all 3 at the same time. That's it. And again, the link is 9.cc/OQP. If you want a PDF, you can download it from there also. So I'll go ahead and take questions.